The grand chamber of the Galactic Council shimmered with alien elegance, a vast amphitheater floating above a planetary surface of swirling gases. Species from across 1,000 systems had gathered, their myriad forms casting strange shadows across the polished obsidian floors. Yet despite the assembly of the most formidable minds and bodies in the galaxy, a curious anomaly had captured the attention of many: Earth's delegation. Among the humans stood 3 diplomatic guards, tall and unassuming, dressed in simple ceremonial uniforms that bore no weapons, no energy shields, no defensive devices of any kind. Their presence seemed almost ceremonial, more symbolic than functional. Whispers rippled through the audience. "Surely this is a joke," muttered a representative of the Zarvathi, a species whose members carried crystalline, blade-like limbs as extensions of their own bodies. "They bring no weapons? None at all? They must be hiding something," hissed a Korath counselor whose species specialized in subterfuge and covert combat. "No one is that naive." The human ambassador, a woman named Alara Voss, stood at the podium. She radiated calm, a subtle confidence that somehow dominated the chamber without force. Behind her, the guards remained motionless, eyes scanning the room with quiet vigilance. The first day of negotiations began with the usual formalities: discussions of trade routes, treaties of peace, and territorial disputes. Each session brought further murmurs about the human guards. Why would a species capable of interstellar travel, advanced technology, and devastating weaponry bring unarmed protectors to an assembly where political assassinations were considered routine? By the second day, tension began to mount. The Council's more suspicious factions started pressuring the humans. "We request, in accordance with Galactic Law 432b, that Earth provide full armament for your diplomatic security during these proceedings," demanded Vorketh, the lead Zarvathi delegate. His crystalline fingers clicked against the floor in agitation. Alara smiled slightly. "Our guards do not carry weapons," she said evenly, "but I assure you they are fully capable of maintaining the safety of our delegation." Laughter and incredulity echoed throughout the chamber. Some species openly mocked her, comparing Earth to a fragile, defenseless child in the midst of predators. The final day of meetings arrived, and the Council called for a joint discussion on the increasingly tense border conflicts near the Solaris Nebula. Negotiators from the Vithari Empire, notorious for their ruthlessness, approached with veiled threats and subtle maneuvers. Their leader, General Thrax, leaned casually toward the podium, his voice dripping with condescension. "I do hope your delegation feels safe here, Ambassador Voss," he said, "though it is peculiar to see such unarmed companions. One might wonder whether your species is too fragile for the galactic stage." Alara's response was a faint, knowing smile. "I understand your concern, General Thrax," she said. "Perhaps it is time you meet them properly." Before anyone could react, the room shuddered violently. From the observation panels, the Council could see that a massive fleet of Vithari warships had begun encroaching into the chamber's space orbit, their engines visible as lethal streaks across the void. Panic erupted among the delegates. "Defensive protocols," shouted a Korath officer. Shields flared, weapons charged, and panic swept the assembly like wildfire. The humans, however, remained serene. The 3 guards stood, and without drawing any visible weapon, they moved in perfect synchronization. In moments, the chaos in the chamber froze. The Vithari fleet outside the observation windows shuddered violently. Systems began failing without visible cause. One by one, ships exploded in sudden bursts of energy that defied conventional understanding. The Council could only watch, mouths agape, as the humans' presence alone disrupted advanced starship systems and disabled entire fleets. In the chamber, not a single Council member had been harmed. Not a shield had fired, not a weapon discharged. General Thrax, face pale behind his exoskeleton, staggered back. "Impossible," he whispered. These humans." Alara stepped forward. "Your threat," she said calmly, "was assessed and neutralized without the use of firearms or combat devices. Our species has developed far beyond conventional warfare. We do not require arms to enforce peace. Presence, strategy, and understanding are weapons far more potent than plasma and steel." A silence unlike any the Council had ever known fell over the chamber. Then gradually it was replaced by a mixture of awe and fear. Delegates from dozens of species began whispering, some bowing slightly, others simply staring at the humans with a newfound respect that bordered on reverence. The Council convened immediately to revise diplomatic protocols. Humans were no longer seen as fragile or defenseless. They were recognized as a species capable of unparalleled tactical mastery and lethal subtlety, even without visible armaments. Weeks later, reports arrived across the galaxy. Entire fleets that had once sought to intimidate Earth now operated under cautious detente. Trade agreements and peace treaties were rewritten with humans at the center of negotiations. Species that once dismissed Earth's technological and strategic capabilities as primitive now approached every encounter with caution and respect. Back on the council chamber floor, the human guards returned to their ceremonial stance, unarmed, unflinching, and utterly composed. The lesson was clear. Humanity's power did not lie in visible weapons, but in the unparalleled mastery of tactics, intellect, and the indomitable spirit that had made them feared and respected across the stars. By the time Earth departed the Galactic Council, its diplomats had made history. Entire civilizations had learned a critical lesson. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. And as the chamber's floating lights dimmed, echoes of whispers still lingered. They carry no arms, and yet they command the galaxy itself.